Yo, what's up? Chris Simms Unbuttoned. We got a special guest today, my man Brian Flores, who we kind of go back, oddly enough, to early college years.
We do.
He played at Boston College. A good friend of mine from high school played with you, Greg Toll, exactly right. And one day he showed up in my kitchen with Greg Toll, and I was like, who the hell is this guy? And we've known each other ever since. But first thing is, congrats, okay?
Thank you.
Way to go. It's well deserved.
Thank you very
much. One thing I've always respected about you is your toughness, okay? Like, I feel like I could take most coaches in football.
I don't know about that.
You don't know? How dare you say that on my podcast? But you, on the other hand, I know. There's Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
You, on the other hand, though, you do have a toughness about you. And I think it does go back to your upbringing in Brownsville, New York, and Brooklyn, New York. Tell us about growing up in that area and kind of how it framed you into being the man you are today.
Well, yeah, like you said, I grew up in Brownsville, the Brownsville section of Brooklyn.
Right.
Which is a tough area.
Sure.
Let's call it just tough. So I grew up in the New York City public housing. I learned a couple things from growing up there.
Yeah.
First and foremost, you had to be tough.
Right.
If you didn't, people were gonna mess with you on a day-to-day basis.
Sure.
The second thing is, I had to learn to deal with adversity. So I lived on the 20th floor, and the elevators were, we called it sometimey,
right.
Back in the day. So
right.
so sometimes they worked, sometimes they worked, sometimes they didn't. So
right.
A lot of times I'd have to, we'd go grocery shopping, with my mom.
Yep.
Get to the elevator, both of them are broken. We'd have to walk right up 20 flights of steps. I did that, at least once a week, my entire time.
So that's where you get the power in those legs and butt you got there, right there.
I think that's right. You know what? I never thought of that, but that's probably where it started. And then, finally, motivated me to get out of there.
Right.
To be honest. It's a tough environment, a lot of poverty, a lot of drugs, a lot of violence,
Sure.
a lot of all those things.
Right.
But the motivation I got from growing up that way and then making it out, but that toughness, there's still a little bit of that. If you peel back the layers, some of that toughness, some of that that's still there. I think that's what you're talking about.
I know, it's exactly what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those days when it was like midway through the season in New England and you were a little grouchy because we'd all been working hard, and I go, I'm not going to mess with him today. He might put me in a chokehold, and it might be the end of the day for me.
I would say you got a little bit of your toughness on your own.
I'm not bad. I'm not bad.
I'm not,
I'm not on
You're not going to lull me to sleep right now.
Okay.
You're not going to lull me to sleep.
I'm trying my best. I'm trying to kiss your butt, so this is a good interview. But either way, all right, so you talked about your mom, your parents being Honduran immigrants coming over here and trying to make a better life for you. Your dad served in the Army. Yeah. I got a kick out of an article I read around Super Bowl time about your mom. Your mom, who's battled cancer and issues like that. You go home and talk football to her and talk about yelling at players.
Oh, she loves that.
And she loves it. So tell me a little bit about why she loves that.
My mom was, she led our house with an iron fist. So she was tough on us, and
right.
She didn't really want us outside unless we were doing something productive.
Right. Didn't want you hanging on the corner.
You're at the library, or you're at practice, or you're doing something productive.
Yeah.
So that was kind of her parenting style, and unbeknownst to me, that kind of ended up becoming my coaching style.
Yeah.
So I'm hard on the players. I'm demanding. The one thing I knew though about from my mom is that she loved me.
Yeah.
There was never a doubt that she could say whatever she wants. She could do her thing. When she got angry.
Right. So that's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Okay. So because I know we're in the age where you're not supposed to spank your kids. Right? I spank my little boy. Okay. He's a Simms and he's stubborn, so he needs it.
Right.
But what did she do to you? What was
we got spanked?
You got spanked.
We got spanked.
I think it was worse than that. But okay.
We got spanked, and but even when we got spanked, I knew she loved me.
Right.
And I knew she'd come over and say, "This is why this happened." And, my coaching style is similar to that.
Yeah.
So I yell, I scream, I kind of go off at times.
Right.
But my guys know I love them.
Yeah.
And I try to build those connections and build that trust. And I think that's specifically with today's player, you got to build that trust, you got to build that connection. And if you don't, if they feel like you're just out to get your next job or out to just win games and
treating them like a piece of meat, whatever it may be.
I don't think that's the way to go. That's just been my philosophy.
Right.
and it's worked for me, and that's I'm not going to change.
No, I know you won't.
I got to stick to my guns on that.
Yeah, well, it's gotten you pretty far here in a short period of time. I mean, you're not even 38 yet, and you're the head coach of the Miami freaking Dolphins. Is that soaked into you yet? I mean, have you been able to wow, I'm the head coach of the Dolphins, or are you so focused you don't even really?
I've had so much going on.
Yeah.
I've had a couple moments like that,
right.
but then I kind of slap myself in the face and say, there's something to do.
Yeah.
Draft, free agency, messaging to the team, offense, defense, special teams.
Right.
There's always something going on.
Right.
So, if I'm gonna, do a great job at this job, then I have to be focused on right now.
No doubt. All right, so other thing is I got a little taste of New England working up there. I couldn't hang. I wasn't tough enough. I mean, at the end of the day, I really
okay.
I could. I just had to go home and be a dad. I couldn't stomach being away from my kids and everything like that. I was fortunate that I made a little money before that to where I could make those decisions. But you started from the lowest levels in New England. Just talk about a little bit what it's like to come up the ranks and really. I always thought the cool thing is they start you at the very bottom, and you get to see every facet of what makes the organization really good. Kind of just talk about your experience and how you came up the ranks.
I think I was very fortunate. My development, and it all kind of happened. I don't want to say if it's by chance. I don't think anything's by chance. I was kind of, I won't say destined, but
no, you're
everything
a worker,
that happened.
Man. You're a worker.
It happened for a reason.
Right.
So I started in personnel.
Right.
Scott Pioli's actually, he hired me.
Okay.
And kind of learn the inner workings of the personnel side, which now it's
it's awesome
vital
to have that.
Yeah,
right,
kind of have that background.
Yep.
I went from personnel to special teams to offense to defense, and then kind of worked my way up defensively, and it's hard.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it boils down to. It's not easy to work in New England.
Yeah.
It's not easy to play in New England.
Right.
But they get the best out of you. They get the most out of you. I was fortunate to be there for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it went by like that, and I learned a lot. And I think the development of I developed a lot working in all those different areas, and you start to go on some head coaching interviews and you hear about what this role entails, and it's you're managing the sub programs,
right.
Whether it's strength and conditioning to IT to equipment to you're managing all these sub programs, and I had a taste of a few of those.
Right. So you feel good in those interviews.
You feel like
right.
you feel like you can lead, and I would say that's another thing in New England that Bill does a good job of developing leaders.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm going to take from there.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my best to develop leaders within our building.
Right.
In all the areas, in their prospective areas.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I think that's important.
Right. So, okay, you talk about Bill, and I do want to ask you questions about it. I mean, Bill's the greatest coach in the history of the NFL. I don't even think it's close. Now that you're gone or whatever, when you just kind of assess Bill and what you learn from it, what is the things, one or two things that just jump out to you that go, that's why Bill is amazing and he's the king of football?
The first one's preparation.
Yeah.
No, everyone says no stone goes unturned, but I was in that building.
Yeah, no, I know. I feel like we were like scouting guys in Germany sometimes.
Yeah, no stone goes unturned.
Right.
So, from a preparation standpoint, situational football. But I think one of the things he does a great job of, and is he makes sure that we have guys who are doing the best. We're accentuating guys' strengths and trying not to put them in positions where they're doing things that they're not very good at.
Right.
So, and I think that's important.
Yeah. Sure.
Why would we put somebody in a position where
he can't do this?
This is not his strength.
Right.
Or we're putting him something where it's a weakness of his.
Yeah.
And it's not just on the field.
Yeah.
It's really across the board.
Right.
And I think that's important.
Even in coaches, you're
coaching,
your
scouting.
There,
what
right.
are your strengths?
Right.
This guy, he scouts offensive linemen well. This guy scouts defensive backs well.
Yeah.
And I think you need to play to people's strengths. I think that's something that we'll do. We've already started in Miami.
Have you seen him in your 15 years there? Did you see a guy that's, even getting close to the end or tired, or it doesn't seem like it ever gets on him, right?
He's going to be coaching for a while.
It's unbelievable.
That's my belief.
Yeah, right. What else did he do?
He's still got energy.
Yeah.
He's still, I mean, he's still the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
So, you know, I don't see him.
Yeah.
I don't see him stopping anytime soon.
Yeah. All right. And I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you a little bit about this, because, and again, I don't want to ask you too many Miami Dolphins questions. And what are you going to do in the draft? I'm sure you've been asked a million times that this week already. But Gronk retiring.
Yeah.
I mean, Gronk was pretty damn special, and you were around a lot of special players there in New England. You know, again, like I asked you with Bill, like what will always jump out or first thing into your mind when you think about Gronkowski as the New England Patriot tight end?
The passion for the game, energy.
Right.
For me as a player is the way he blocked.
Right.
You know, that's one of those things that, you know, it's not the status or the fame. It's, it doesn't get you on the, you know, all the Twitter views, as they say, or, you know.
Yeah, the highlights.
The highlights, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's something he did really well, and it helped us win a lot of games.
Yeah.
And when you can bring that kind of toughness and attitude and strength, power, and just, you know, nasty kind of, you know, grit, you know, to a game, you know, that's what you're looking for in this game.
Yeah.
You know, he played. I would say he blocked almost like, you know, it's kind of like the toughness and grit you want out of a defensive player.
Right.
So that's what I loved about him, and we kind of. You know, we kind of talked about that. Yeah, we talked about that on a lot of levels.
Right.
You know, now when he was out there, receiver, and, you know, doing his dances.
Right.
It was fun. You know, so on Sundays. You know, basically, you know, during the week it wasn't this fun.
Right.
You know, trying to get this guy contained.
Right.
So, you know.
Yeah, he's pretty special.
He is.
All right, I know you got things to do. One last thing. We have one last order of business, because this is what this guy is here. He's no nonsense. I was like getting into the scouting area in New England, and I thought I just watched the guy. I was like, this guy's a first-round pick. I guarantee it. And I go down to his office, and I think I just watched the guy. Definite first rounder. And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he writes that. I go, I bet you this guy's a first rounder. So we bet $50. It was LaMarcus Joyner for all those out there. And as soon as I said it, I mean, B-Flow here, as they call him, wrote it on the board. Simms, LaMarcus Joyner, $50. I never paid you, okay? So we're going to get this out of the way right now.
First off, let's say this. LaMarcus Joyner.
Yes.
Okay? I think you're an incredible player.
Yeah, we think you're amazing.
I think you're an incredible player.
Thank you.
Okay? So you've had a great career. Congrats on the contract in Oakland, I believe. Oakland, correct?
Well, yes, Oakland. And well said by you.
Yeah.
Because it's not a knock on you.
Not a knock on you.
You were knocking me you're new and you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, he was new, didn't know what he was saying. He was throwing it out there, and he was almost right. Okay? So...
here you go. I'm going to give you 60 because I only got 20s, but I think the interest is
yes,
there.
I think the interest is there, and I will absolutely take this.
And I'm paying you're rich as hell now.
No, here we go. No, okay.
Yep. Unbelievable.
We'll be all right. You'll be okay. You'll be just fine.
Okay,
all right?
Thanks.
You got to pay your debts around here.
All right. Good seeing you.
Good seeing you too, bud.
You're the man.
All right.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.